Welcome back. I am Adriana Monique Alvarez, and I'm super excited to be interviewing another author. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hello. Hello. I'm so great and I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you, Monique.
Absolutely. So, we like to go behind the highlight reel and social media stuff and get to those real raw stories that usually people don't get to see and hear. So, one of the first things that I'd love to hear from you is how did you get into the work that you're in right now?
Oh, great question. This is all kind of it's all enmeshed in the story as well. So I've been a medium pretty much my whole life. And I was born awake and connected, and we all are, but it didn't go away for me.
Yes.
And I continued to see spirit and have psychic impressions and things happening that I didn't really understand, but I wanted nothing to do with it. And I pushed it away for many years until 1999.
Mm.
And that's when I had my dark night of the soul, what I call my dark night of the soul. And this is the whole story of turning my pain into purpose. So it's when everything, as soon as that happened, everything came online. My psychic energy came online. My mediumship energy came online in a way that I could not shut it down. And I had to figure out how to navigate it. As it was part of
Wow.
my purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was the thing you came to do. So there was
Yep.
no, when you talk about trying to push it away and like, okay, yeah, actually, I don't want to do that. Um, what were your fears around that? Like if you embraced all of this, you would be seen as weird or out there, or did you have other ambitions that you thought you wanted to pursue more? What was the scariest part about embracing it before that dark night of the soul?
Oh, so great questions. I think it changed over the years because when I was little, I would see spirit and it would just scare me. I knew something wasn't right, but I really didn't have context for it because I was only 4 or 5. So I that kind of imprinted on me. And then hearing people talk about if you see that, you're crazy or something's wrong with you. And so that imprinted on me. And, I thought maybe I was a little unhinged. I still did, when I had my dark night. I thought either I'm crazy or something else is going on here,
I'm
but
crazy.
yeah, I need to figure this out. So I think it was all of those things, how I would be perceived by others. And that was something I had to overcome, through doing this. Because I started in this 25, 26, like a while ago, before it was is as mainstream as it's becoming now.
Sure. Yeah. Back when it
Yeah.
felt a little bit more, yeah, weird. And, but this is the thing that I've learned is no matter what somebody does, they have to get through that, how others are going to perceive me. Because even when we pick things that are, perceived in different ways by different people, we have to overcome that. And it's like, what am I choosing for myself, regardless of what their opinions are about it? Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
True?
Yeah, and you know what really helped me overcome was recognizing if I get in my own way, I'm a disservice to everybody else that I get to help. And that's selfish, and I don't want to be that. So
Yeah.
I want to be able to overcome so that I can make a difference here in the way that I want to make a difference. And that's how people transform. So and remember who they are, right? That's one of
Yes.
the big things that I'm here to assist is to remember who we are. And so that was that's what I kept coming back to is get over yourself so that you can be a greater expression of love for those that you serve.
Mm.
And that kept me going because I didn't, I went into this kicking and screaming. It was not I was my guides were low rolling their eyes, I'm sure, at me because
Right. They're like,
I was like, prove it, prove I can do this, prove I'm worthy, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, and I got the proof and I got the proof and I got the synchronicities and I was still had doubt. It took me a long time to really, really open into this and surrender.
yeah.
And there's still levels, right? You're always evolving and growing and surrendering. Yep. Just gets easier and more fun and more enjoyable. And I think I did it. I do it now from a place of joy rather than a place of anxiety and fear. I shifted how I manage what I do.
Mm. I think that's huge because when you shift how you approach it, then everything can be more enjoyable, right? Even the
Yeah.
things that you don't know for sure or you can't have the answer for right now. When you work with people and they come to you, what do you think are the major things that disconnect people from who they really are?
Conditioning, human conditioning, um, lack of self-worth, lack of awareness. And oh, that's such a big question. I could go in so many different directions with that. But truly, we have been conditioned to believe we're not any of this. We've been conditioned to believe that anything outside of the box that we're shown to live our life in is wrong and deviant. And then fear comes in. Well, if it's not what I'm told I'm supposed to do, then I'm scared of what that is. So it's honestly what just dropped in for me for this for you is fear of the unknown.
Ooh. Because there's not already this charted path and paved road. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust one step at a time. And people
Yeah.
are afraid to do that.
Yeah. And intuition, like intuition is our first sense. And people for years, Monique, I would have people come to me going, tell me how are you so magical? Why do you have these powers? Like I was some unicorn on the shelf somewhere, where it's like, oh, God sprinkled only a few of us with this dust and the rest of you are SOL. It's like, I don't have power. Well, maybe you can call it a power, but we all are this because we're all connected. There's no separation and we just forgot. And I'm here
Mhm.
to help people remember. So people keep seeing it outside of themselves. It's like it's
Yes.
over there somewhere and it's all starts with from within.
Yep, that's a biggie because also if I can think of you as being the special one and you have it, then I'm off the hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
I
you
don't have to go within.
yeah, and you've got the answers for me.
Yes, yes, you're the savior
Right?
I've been looking for.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I always tell people, psychics aren't here to tell you what to do. They're here to tell you what they see. And they're always potentials because you are the co-creator of your reality. And the
That makes
soul's
sense
already
now.
written the story, right? We've already written the story. Our free will is how we choose to navigate the journey. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people, if you think of like what's the Super Mario with the princess at the end, the video game is already written. The character gets to maneuver through in its own specific way the terrain of life on the journey to go rescue the princess, to go and, finish the result of the culmination of what the soul wanted to express here. And all these fractals. So, gosh, we could go on and on about that, right?
Oh yeah, that's a very interesting topic to me is, this whole thing of you chose this life, you chose the lessons, you chose the whole experience, and within it, you get to make choices and you get to keep deciding what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah. And every choice you make shifts your timeline constantly. Every thought we're thinking is and emotion we're emoting is creating the reality that we're experiencing. And it's hard for people to wrap their head around that. There's a science, I've studied neuroscience for the last 12 years. I do the work of Joe Dispenza. I have been for
Mm.
a long time.
Love Joe.
And the neuroscience shows like the data's there to teach us that, the how quantum we really are.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing that I'm wondering, and you'll have to tell me is, do you think it's scary for people to believe they're that powerful?
Yes. We're
Mhm.
afraid of our own power.
We're afraid of our own power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got started with Joe Dispenza. My experience, well, I was going to say my experience with him was a couple years ago, but it started before that because it was 2017 or 2018. Somebody told me about the book Break the Habit of Being Yourself.
Hmm.
And I love that. I've read that book so many times. And then it was, I think 2 or 3 years ago, a client invited me to Denver. He was going to Denver and it was like a 3-day thingamajigger. And I thought, oh, why not? It was just, it's a 1 hour flight for me. So we went. Oh my gosh, it was for me, it was this ability. I had been in grief since 2018 when I lost my daughter. And
Mm.
it was within the first 45 minutes, he said, "You don't have to keep reliving the past if you don't want to." And it was
Mm.
so simple and yet so profound. And it was like, yeah, why am I doing that?
That's what you needed to hear. Well, how liberating. Wow,
It was
especially with
so
such a traumatic event for you.
Oh, yeah, and it was that reminder of, yes, in this moment, I have a choice, and my choice impacts me greatly.
Mm.
And it impacts me most of all, and then
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think you're right, just, watching him put stuff up on the screen, you can see people's brain waves in real time in this moment, and then let's do a 20-minute meditation, or let's say these thoughts and words, and literally watching this erratic pattern, chaotic pattern turn into
Coherence.
coherence.
I've
Yes.
been brain mapped. I've been brain mapped twice in his session, in his, yeah. And in his week longs. And I actually had the opportunity to have a consultation with a neuroscientist and go over my brain map. And I still have the recording. It was fascinating. What I found fascinating about that was he didn't know what I did for a living. He had no idea. He just knew my name, and it was a call, so we didn't even see face to face. And he was looking at my brain map, and he said, "You have that these centers lit up at this time and this time for it," because it was pages and pages and pages. And he said, "This would mean that you are globally psychic. Would you understand that?" And I went, "How did you know that?" He could tell I was
Whoa.
psychic. He could tell I was a healer just by my brain, because they had brain mapped so many thousands of students who all had the same markers in their brain scans that pinpointed that there was an active, because there's parts of your brain that light up when you activate that part of, right, that part of yourself that's connected to the field. And that's the part that I love about this. So when you asked about when did I get into this work? Well, it took me a while, because 1999 was when I left an abusive marriage and I had two young children. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had no job. So my whole life got completely turned upside down, and my psychic energy came online, and I was having past life flashbacks and out of body experiences and seeing spirits everywhere and being shook and awoke in my sleep and you name it, having prophetic dreams. And I was literally becoming unhinged. So I thought, seeing auras everywhere. And all of this was happening at the same time that everything else was happening. So I was trying to manage my life and find a
Oh,
job
yeah.
and take care of my kids and a mortgage and all these things. And so everything just sort of, and that was back in dial-up internet. So, there wasn't a whole
Right.
lot to research, right? So I'm like, what do I do? Started reading, and someone gave me a book, and it changed my life, because I realized, oh my God, I'm not crazy. This woman's had the same experiences. Wow, what else? And I just went into all the synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. And I started studying and learning about, well, actually energy healing came in first, and that really helped ground me, because I was so ungrounded. I was so ungrounded at that time. I would blow up curling irons, hair dryers, light bulbs, radios. Street lights would flicker every time I walked under them. Like my energy was like,
Right. There she
so
goes.
it was. And so it really kind of helped me channel the energy to start grounding and then seeing clearly. And that's when the vision started to come in with more clarity. And I'm like, I would have people on the table and I'd be like, your brother's here. And I would explain what was going on and what the message was. And they would look at me on the table going, crying. I'm like, do you understand that? Oh, okay. Yeah, and it just sort of all like it just sort of happened, it wasn't something I asked for. It just sort of evolved that way. And then I started to focus more, and it's like, I was at school, I went back to school for social work at the same time. So I was kind of riding two worlds, and it all melded together eventually. And then I really wanted the healing practice, and I wanted to get into the healing practice, and it was all about the healing practice. And people kept coming to me for readings. I'm like, no, 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 no. I was too scared. I wasn't ready. Well, I was really afraid of that, give them giving me too much power. I didn't want that, and I didn't know how to manage it. So I had to take my time, and I used to have anxiety attacks before I would do a reading. But It was, I think, where Joe Dispenza came into the picture was Colette Baron Reid, who is also an internationally renowned medium. She's Canadian. And I've had this magnetic connection with her for years where I kept running into her and she actually ran into her at a Dr. Joe Dispenza event in Toronto and literally collided into her. And then I got to have some really great conversation with her and learn a little bit. She gave me a mini reading and it was really, really, really awesome. She was an inspiration for me, and she interviewed him. And I would, because I took a class from her, a couple classes from her in Lilydale, New York, which is I don't know if you've heard of Lilydale, but okay. No? Oh, it's a
No.
really cool place. It's a place that houses a community of mediums, and it's been in existence for I think 200 years. It's really neat. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
really neat little place. And she was teaching there. So I followed her and I was watching something on YouTube. And she did an interview with Joe Dispenza, and there was a part of me that had been asking this question to the universe. I knew we could heal ourselves. I just
Mm.
knew it, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how I knew this. And I didn't know, I didn't understand it, but I know we can heal ourselves. And I started to get really almost depressed, or I almost felt like I had imposter syndrome when I was doing channeling healing for people because I thought these people can do this themselves. Why am I doing this?
Right.
But it was the catalyst that I needed in order to ask that question to get that connection with Joe Dispenza because he put the missing piece in place for me.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, now I get it. And I was so enthralled with what he had to share. I went right away, does this man do workshops? And then I jumped online and went, oh my God, he's coming to Canada in like 4 months. I'm signing up for this. And I had an incredible transformative healing in that workshop
Wow.
and it changed my life. And then I ended up I've been to several workshops but I healed myself of a 30-year chronic condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis.
Oh,
So
wow. That's a big one.
that was, and it was all about self-expression. And so it was, it was all of this is interconnected. The fear of wanting to self-express and be, step in my power and be that expression of love and clarity for those who feel resonant to my work. So it just keeps getting better and better, right?
Yeah, this is a big one because for me, thyroid issues, it's all about that cutting ourselves off, silencing ourselves.
And I did
And
for so long.
yeah, yeah, it's a biggie.
It is.
When you said you felt bad or you felt like an imposter because you were doing something for people that you knew they could do for themselves, but have you figured out or have you experienced that even though they could, that they're probably not going to go from here to that. They're going to need a bridge.
Yes. Yeah, and that was the piece that I needed to understand was I just needed to be able to put the whole picture together and recognize that my part in it is to be a channel that can channel really coherent frequency to change patterns in the field for people to pick up with their own intelligence system to organize that energy and information to help heal. So, yeah, I'm a very integral part of the healing now, and I get it. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because obviously there's a whole spectrum of healers and intuitives and all of that who are at various stages of this. And that's where I find a lot of them get caught is why I feel bad even getting paid for this or even doing this because I know what they're capable of. And yet like the world isn't going to leapfrog all that, you know? I mean,
yeah.
if they could, they already would have.
Exactly. And we're here to be that. And we have value. I think that was the biggest piece is recognizing I have value. I have value. We all have value. We all have purpose. And we get to choose how we manifest that here. And the value is it's the wounded healer. There's so many wounded healers out there in my expression. I'm saying in my opinion, that's Carl Jung, but but the wounded healer is so afraid to it's ingrained like to not take money for service.
Oh man, it's a big one.
And
I
it's
just wish I could get every spiritual psychic healer and just be like, take their money, you know?
yes. If you're
Because
authentic,
it feels
you've
like a huge, it's just a giant hole that almost keeps them from being able to operate fully.
do you know what I share that's helped? It's helped me, and it helps others, when I talk about it from this perspective. Money is not the currency, the greatest value of currency that we have on this planet. Your life force energy is. Your life force energy is the greatest currency that you'll ever have, and it's what you give in order to receive currency for exchange to be here and to live in the way that you live. But your life force energy is everything. Without it, you have nothing.
Mhm.
So if you're going to give your life force energy over to something, because you only have so much to work with in a day, and then it's done, you have to sleep, right? If you're going to give that away, you need to have an exchange for that. And that's the women living in their masculine. They're so stuck in their masculine energy. Give, but not learning how to receive. And that is our power in our feminine energy is learning to receive and be okay, not be okay, but be absolutely in alignment with that. That of course, I'm a divine radiant being. Of course I can receive. Of course it's possible for me to receive and receive well. To receive
Yes.
well and to receive abundantly.
Mm.
And that has been one of the greatest gifts of that dark night was recognizing my value and that moving out of that masculine energy that I've been in for so long and the survival and the action and I have to do. And when we realize who we truly are, we can relax. And the quantum teaches us how to actually draw everything, magnetize what we want to us instead of thinking we have to effort everything. And that's, then you have more life force to have fun.
Yeah,
Right?
to actually live.
Live, yeah, to live and enjoy the experience of being here. And so many people have this idea that we're supposed to come here and suffer.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that that's a biggie. It's like some thinking that it's meant to be hard and we've got to suffer and like oh, we kind of got to beat ourselves a little bit every day and let somebody else take a slap at it too. And yeah, and the other thing that I've observed is when healers won't charge for what they do, but then they have to go get a job. So then they give such a huge amount of their time and energy to something that they hate and it exhausts them. And so I love what you say is
Mm.
life force is the most valuable thing. And so and I think too, that's a great example to hold is exchange. This is what I bring, this is what you bring. We give and receive. It's this
Mm.
dance. It's not just one-sided, it's both and.
Yes, yes, both and. I love that. Yeah, both and. And that makes us feel good because I'll use a Joe Dispenza quote. The ultimate state of gratitude is like the receivership of, we when we get to give, we receive. And when we receive, we give. Because people want to give, let them, you
Yes,
know,
exactly.
let them.
Exactly. Let them. It feels
Let
good for
them.
them too.
Yeah, you're robbing the opportunity to feel good too. So yeah.
I love this. So, Jennifer, where can people learn more about you?
Oh, well, I'm all over social media. I have a website and it's just jennifermckenzie.net. I'm on Facebook as Jennifer Miller McKenzie and also jennifermckenzie.net. And I'm on Instagram as I think it's Psychic Medium Jennifer. Oh my gosh, I
It's
forgot.
okay. It's
Okay. I can
okay.
share all that for you though. And I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that's Jennifer McKenzie also is as well that I'm growing. Yeah, yeah. So I like to put I like to just pop informational tidbits or downloads onto YouTube or on social media. Sometimes Spirit will give me, or my higher self will give me some insight that for the day, and I thought this would be a good one to share. So to help people, demystify this idea that mystics and psychics and mediums are way up there and we're down here and there's no connection because we're all mediums, we're all psychics. And we all get the opportunity to tap into this if we want to.
Mm.
So Yeah, I like to provide some insight about how to do that or how to demystify that feeling of feeling so separate from it. Mm.
Yes, because feeling separate from that is just being creating a gap and separation from ourselves, our truest nature. Yeah.
Yep. And it's the forgetting. It's the spiritual amnesia, I call it.
As we get here, we forgot who the heck we were, like almost
Yeah.
immediately, because
Yeah.
most of us are raised by parents who also forgot who they were. But this is
Mm.
you returning us back.
Yeah, yeah, and navigating because your intuition will change your life. It is your ultimate navigation system. And when you realize you have one and you turn it on, you will change your life for the better. Everything, every aspect of your life is going to change for the better. I also teach. I teach how to do this. I teach how to tap in. I teach how to connect. I teach how to start developing your own skills and learning how to be the best version of yourself. So
Mm. Well,
I continue to do that myself. It's a journey,
right.
right?
Exactly. There's no end to it. As long as we're still here, we're on it. Well, I'm so glad that you teach that, because this is what can help people make sense of their life. Life is doesn't have to be a chaotic mystery. Things can start to make sense when you're tuned
Mm,
in like this. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
thank
call
you.
it alignment.
Total alignment.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you embraced your gifts and your work, and that you're doing it, because this is what leads people back to themselves and feeling at home as they lead their life. So thank you,
Mm.
Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monique. Thank you for the opportunity to come on here and share with you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward
Well,
to it.
I'm excited to read your story in one of our upcoming books. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have a story to share, guess what? Open your mouth and share it. You don't have to wait for anyone's permission, because it's already within you. Yeah. Be sure
That's
and connect with
powerful.
Jennifer. All right.
Thank
Until
you
next
so
time.
much. You got
You're
it. Thank
welcome.
you. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.